Natalie Dormer in The Forest. Natalie Dormer is probably one of my favorite female actresses of all time. I mean, this is an extremely beautiful woman, let's be honest here, and I think the best feature on her is has got to be her lips and her eyes. I mean, she does making a duck face and doing a smirk look hella fucking sexy like I've never seen someone do a duck face or make a smirk that looks extremely fucking sexy. That shit looks really hot on her. I first got to know Natalie in the TV show The Tudors, which is one of the best drama shows that ever existed. Like, you really need to check that show out. Like, if you want to see her best acting, then you should watch that show. She does a phenomenal acting job in that show. Really, really good. And of course, we also know her as Marjorie in Game of Thrones, and she was in another movie. I don't know what the name of the movie is, but I think Brad Pitt is in that movie as well. But a reason for me being one of her biggest fans is why I bought this movie, and I am really, really happy that she finally has a movie. She's finally in a movie where she is the main role or the main cast. So basically, this movie goes about her having a twin sister, and that lives in Japan, or I think works in Japan as a teacher, something like that. And she started getting visions, dreams of how, her daughter, she thinks her sister might have gone lost or missing. So she calls to Japan, and the police tells her that it has been reported that her sister got missing. So what does she do? She takes the next plane to Japan. So basically, her mission is to find her sister in this forest. Now, if it's one thing I know is that in the extras, because it also always have extras, you have the director saying how the forest is actually a forest that really does exist in Japan. So I think this movie is kind of almost a true story, you could say, because they use that realistic offense that happened in Japan in that forest where people commit suicide. They kind of used that story and kind of made it their own in this movie. So she goes looking for her sister in this forest. Of course, she doesn't do it alone. She goes with two other people. There's this other guy, Aiden, she met in a bar, who she thought was a good guy, but apparently happens to be a stranger. But the thing is, he isn't really a stranger, because in this forest you have spirits, dead spirits, who they call yuris. I think yuris is called in Japan. And one of the tour guide told her that if you're a person, if you're a person that's really sad, these yuris will come after you. They will show you things that aren't really real. They're gonna let you do things without you even realizing it, right? And knowing that she missed her sister, or her sister is missing, and of course that makes her sad. So you basically know that the Yuris are gonna come after her or show her these things, which you definitely saw in the movie, because she did start getting a lot of visions. She even came behind the reason why her parents died, which they also show in the movie. But there is one thing that still confuses me in the movie, a little at the ending, where she thought her sister was still alive. Of course, the other people thought she was dead, but in realness, she wasn't dead at all. At the end of the movie, you kind of saw that, where they showed her sister still being alive, and that's kind of where I got confused, because she and the two other people, Sarah, which is the name she goes by, Natalie, actually found the camp of her sister. But here's where I kind of got confused, because at the end of the movie, where they showed that her sister is still alive, she was at that camp. So I'm like, okay, was she gone? Did she come back? Because they were sleeping at the camp and she wasn't there at that exact same time. So that part still confused me, because it's like, what the hell, how come she's not at that same exact time and moment and place when they went looking for her and they found her camp? But at the end of the movie, she is still there. So what did I miss? But I would say this is a really good movie, though. If I have to compare this movie to Crimson Peak, which I did a review of as well, I would say that this one is a lot better, especially in terms of the horrific scenes. There's not a lot of horrific scenes, but this movie will definitely give you the creeps. It will definitely scare you a little bit, especially when the parts where the ghosts, the spirits, kind of come out unexpectedly. Like when they face the camera, you kind of do get a fucking scared, get scared a little bit. So that's good. I thought the story was good as well. Her acting was also good. Yeah, I just thought it was a good movie. I don't really know much more to tell you. You know. So, but at the end, Sarah, Natalie, turned out to be the one that died, because they were at this cabin where she thought Jessica was, and she's got visions and heard voices which just told her that this guy Aiden isn't the guy you should trust. But that wasn't really Jessica telling her that. It was the spirit, the Yuri. So she ended up trying to kill the guy, try to kill Aiden, which she did. Then she went into the cabin, into the door, and that's the part where she kind of found out and saw the vision, how her father got killed. So her father kind of woke up as a spirit haunting her, and she thought, of course, it's real, which is not. So she ended up kind of cutting the guy. The spirit held her hand, so she ended up cutting this guy his finger, not knowing that she's cutting herself at the same time. And so her not realizing that, at the end of the movie, she kind of sort of figured out that, hey, I had cut myself. So basically how she died was that she was bleeding out. She bled out completely, and that's basically how she died. And she figured that out a little at the end, where all the spirits gathered around and took her into the ground. And one of the tour guys also saw that when ultimately Sarah at the end was standing there. So he kind of saw the spirit. So that's how it ended. So yeah, that's about it. It's a good movie, definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of Natalie. So that's about it. I would rate it 7.5 out of 10. My expectations were really low for this movie because I didn't know what to expect, but ultimately it turned out to be a really good movie. I really enjoyed it, so that's good. Check it out. So that's about it. Thank you for watching.